Welcome to today's episode of Heard and Seen Around. I am Rajesh Karipurath. This is my take on macroeconomic and geoeconomic data points, which I find interesting. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed curating it. Cheers.
To err is human, but to really foul things up you need a computer. Paul R. Ehrlich. A clear conscience is usually the sign of a bad memory. Stephen Wright. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? Abraham Lincoln. Everything is funny, as long as it's happening to somebody else. Will Rogers. I haven't spoken to my wife in years. I didn't want to interrupt her. Rodney Dangerfield.
Europe is alarmed by 39 to 40 degrees Celsius temperatures in May, and rightly so. Those numbers are far above the normal for the continent. But the Indian story is different. While Europe's heatwave is making global headlines, Delhi at 45 degrees Celsius, Nagpur at 46, Jaipur at 44 are running even hotter than many Middle Eastern desert cities. Dubai is 36, Doha 37 degrees Celsius and Riyadh at 38 degrees Celsius. Think about that for a second. Cities built in deserts are cooler than several of India's major urban centers. That's where the real issue begins. Climate change is raising the baseline everywhere, but India's extreme urban heat is also being amplified by endless concrete, shrinking tree cover, overcrowding, and city planning that often treats shade as an optional extra. The result is a giant heat trap effect where cities stay hot long after sunset. A few years ago, the Mag 7 looked untouchable. 7 companies with fortress-like positions, dominant market share, and very little serious competition. Today, they are increasingly competing with each other. The scoreboard tells a story. The Nasdaq 100 is up 18% YTD, but Microsoft is down 12%, Meta down 5%, Netflix down 3%, and Tesla is flat. Even Nvidia's 11% gain is lagging the index, while Google's 24% surge and Apple's 15% rise are doing much of the heavy lifting. This isn't a market where buying big tech is enough anymore. Cloud AI advertising hardware search at autonomous driving and everyone is invading everyone else's territory. The monopoly era is slowly giving way to a knife fight era. While everyone was watching tariffs and trade headlines, the RBI was busy conducting one of the largest currency defense operations in recent history. In FY26, the RBI recorded its biggest net dollar sale in at least 15 years, while its outstanding forward dollar sales crossed $100 billion, a record by a wide margin. That's a central bank using both the spot and forward markets to smooth volatility and prevent the rupee from taking a sharper hit. The interesting part, the rupee still weakened, which tells you the pressure was substantial enough that even record intervention was more about just reducing turbulence than reversing the trend. Think of it less as currency manipulation and more as shock absorption. India's gender story is a tale of progress, but also of unfinished business. Women make up nearly 50% of the population, yet hold just 9.8% of union ministerial positions, only 12.6% of the police force, and around 4% of the army. The judiciary isn't much better. There is currently just one woman among 33 Supreme Court judges. The encouraging part, civil services are moving faster, with women accounting for 36% of officers overall and over 41% in the IAS. So the pipeline is improving, even if the top floors still look rather empty. Economic growth is often measured in GDP. Social progress is measured by who gets a seat at the table. Every politician loves cheap fuel. Every state government loves fuel taxes. That's a contradiction. In FY26, Maharashtra collected 27,450 crores from fuel taxes, followed by Uttar Pradesh at 23,193 crores and Gujarat at 21,612 crores. But the bigger surprise is Gujarat derives the highest share of its own tax revenue from petroleum products, making fuel one of its most important cash generators. And if you're wondering why prices vary so much, look at state taxes. Telangana levies the highest VAT on petrol at 35.2%, with Andhra Pradesh close behind. The challenge is simple. Fuel taxes are easy to collect and hard to give up. At first glance, FY26 gross FDI inflows hit a record $95 billion. Sounds fantastic, but that's only half the story. A record $54 billion was repatriated, and Indian companies sent a record $33 billion abroad as outbound FDI. The result, net FDI was just $8 billion, a fraction of the headline number. Then came the portfolio side. FPIs pulled out $19.5 billion from equities, with the biggest selling seen in IT at $9.2 billion, financials at $6.1 billion, and FMCG at $3.7 billion. Meanwhile, domestic demand for imported gold hit record levels, creating another drain on dollars. The lesson is simple. Not all capital inflows stay home. In FY26, India had record gross inflows, but also record leakages. The dollar door was busy in both directions.